This is where it's all going to happen in the summer in the Olympic Games. This is where dreams are either made or crushed.
In less than 3 weeks' time, diver Tom Daley will know if he's achieved his lifelong ambition.
The thing that drives me every day and has done for my whole life is an Olympic gold medal. It's the one title that I haven't won yet.
This is the story of the last 4 years. The highs and lows, secrets and revelations. As British sport's most famous boy became a man and decided to risk everything in pursuit of a dream.
When I'm laying in bed every night, I just run through the feelings of standing on the end of that board, knowing that I've got 6 dives to go and I could be walking away from Rio with an Olympic gold medal around my neck. Then also, sometimes when I lay in bed and I think about it, things go wrong. And the thought of that breaks my heart.
Britain has watched Tom Daley grow up. From child prodigy to teenage world champion. When he dramatically won an Olympic medal 4 years ago, the whole country celebrated with him.
Look at Daley, elation. Olympic bronze medalist.
Olympic medals haven't come along very often in our sport at all. So it was a massive thing. I think you just need to look at his face, as well as the rest of the team, to see how ecstatic he was.
Everyone was overjoyed, absolutely overjoyed, and I think a few mobile phones got ruined that day.
I was over the moon. I couldn't have been happier. You can see in the way that I reacted, it was just something that I've always wanted to do, is stand on an Olympic podium.
We were all so thrilled for you.
Thank you.
You haven't stopped smiling.
I haven't, honestly. I couldn't have really asked for more, because it's just been such an amazing experience, and it's so sad that it's nearly all over.
What the world didn't see was the aftershock. A post-Olympic slump that nearly ended Tom's diving career.
I think in 4-year cycles. 2008 Olympic Games, 2012 Olympic Games, 2016 Olympic Games. But my mindset completely changed after 2012. It was really weird. You've gone off this massive high that you've been working for 4 years, and it goes by just like... You just kind of feel like you've gone down a trapdoor and you're in the dark. I had the thought of, I never want to do this again. I never want to be in a pool ever again. I don't like this sport. I hate it.
For a period of time, it was quite difficult. Where do you go from then? How do you pick yourself back up?
5 minutes. Okay.
Tom's progress towards Rio was also blighted by injury.
Now, Olympic bronze medalist Tom Daley will miss next week's European Diving Championships after failing to recover from an elbow injury. Daley has been forced to pull out of the last 2 World Series events with the problem.
2013 was a rough year for me. I struggled with injury. I just wanted to be able to just shut off from everything.
At one point, he didn't want to dive anymore. He said, "Mum, I've had enough now, I don't want to do it anymore." And I just sort of said, "Well, you know, that's your decision, Tom. If you really don't want to do it anymore, that's fine."
Tom had not only lost his motivation, he'd also lost his biggest supporter.
Obviously, I lost my dad to a brain tumour in 2011. He always knew what to say to make me feel better. Whether I was doing well, whether I wasn't doing well, he was always just there to be supportive.
I mean, Rob used to take him to every training session. He'd go to every competition all over the world. Tom always used to like to know when he was up on that diving board that his dad was watching him, so that was always a really big part of his diving.
You can tell that relationship was pretty intense. And I think that support Tom really leaned on as well.
Sometimes after training sessions, he would just drive and we'd get ice cream. Without even speaking, he would know what was up, and he would just go and make it all better. He just knew how to make me happy.
It's December 2013. 2.5 years until Rio.
Hi guys. So most of you are probably wondering why I'm doing this video.
19-year-old Tom is on the brink of an announcement that could forever change the public perception of the golden boy of British sport.
My life's been a bit of a roller coaster over the last couple of years. It's gonna be weird to just have people know, because there's always been this like massive secret that I know talked about it. It's kind of gonna be one of the biggest 24 hours of my life, really. I mean, I've got a big announcement coming out tomorrow through social media. This year, my life changed massively when I met someone, and that someone is a guy. I'm letting the world know that I have a boyfriend.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend Dustin Lance Black.
Lance is a screenwriter.
Wow, this is scary.
He won an Oscar for his most famous film, which was Milk, which is about one of the first gay activists.
I grew up in a Mormon military home in Texas, and it means that you know what the word gay means from a very early age, and it usually means evil and sick and wrong, and that you're going to hell. Sadly, 1 out of every 3 gay or lesbian kids in this country attempt suicide today.
Lance is double my age, which is quite a weird situation to be in, because he's similar age to my mum, which when you think about it like that, it's a bit a bit weird. But I mean, you can't help who you fall in love with, and that was him.
I met him within a year of him winning bronze at the London Olympics. I could see he had the blues, which I got, because there's also something called the post-Oscar blues. We were in similar places in so many ways when we met. I just lost my big brother. My mom was very sick. He had just lost his father. And these were the people, you got some joy out of impressing, let's be honest.
I had always thought that, a guy is attractive, but I could never ever thought that I would fall in love or be able to be in a relationship. But then once I met Lance, it was okay, wow, this is the first time I've ever actually had feelings for a guy.
I'll never be able to fill his father's shoes. He'll never be able to fill my mother or my brother's shoes, but we can be there for each other in other ways now.
It's really amazing to be in love with somebody who you also admire and can be dazzled by. Oh. And it's true. And it's, it makes me want to be a better person. I mean, I feel like the luckiest guy in the world.
Cute. Stop it.
In December of 2013, Tom was faced with revealing a relationship that had remained undercover for 8 months.
The more people I tell and the more people are accepting of me, I'm starting to accept myself a little bit more, because to start off with, I thought well, what's wrong with me? Why is this happening? I thought it was all wrong kind of thing. But then this meeting Lance became the moment when I felt, you know what, this is actually really right.
He said to me, I've got something to tell you. And he pulls me in the kitchen and was like, oh, I'm gay. And I'm like, what? And I didn't believe it whatsoever. And kept it such a big secret.
When I told my mum for the first time, we were all having a barbecue, so Lance was over in the UK, and I took my mum into the kitchen and I just said, what do you think of Lance?
And I sort of said, oh yeah, he seems really nice, Tom.
And I said, well, what do you really think of him? And she goes, well, he can make really good burgers, because he made some homemade burgers to put on the barbecue.
And he sort of said, oh, well, we're together. And I said, well, what do you mean you're together? He said, oh, we're going out with each other. And I sort of went, oh.
She was like, really? No, you're not. I was like, no, seriously.
Right, okay. So does that mean I'm not getting any grandchildren? Those were my words to him. So he was like, OK, Mum, you know, that's great, thank you very much.
She was just really accepting of it, and it literally was over in a matter of like 4 or 5 minutes. I literally thought it was going to be this massive hour-long ordeal, like, to have to say it, but she was completely fine with it.
Tomorrow, Tom will tell the world. But first he must let his youngest brother, 14-year-old Ben, in on the secret.
What do you think I'm going to say? Have a guess. Have a guess. If you could guess one thing, if you get it right...
Buy me a house.
Why would I buy you a house? Okay, so basically, you know Lance? He's my boyfriend.
No, it's not.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Why is he not?
Tell him properly then.
Okay, no, I promise you.
You're serious?
Promise you, it's my life. Seriously. Yeah.
Oh dear. I'm gonna get bullied.
Why would you?
You're gay.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you're gonna get bullied.
Still.
William had the same reaction, didn't he?
Mm.
Honestly.
Do you want to play on this?
Yeah, you can go play on the Xbox now if you want.
Okay. What time going on?
We'll go in for food in a minute. Bye. I don't know what William and Ben had the same reaction.
What, that they don't believe you?
Yeah.
It should be the same reaction for a lot of people, I would imagine.
Mm. We'll see. We'll see. Hi Andy. I just wanted to give you a quick call, just because to give you a heads up.
It's the morning of December the 2nd, 2013, and 2.5 years until the Rio Olympics. Diver Tom Daley is attending training as usual. But today is far from ordinary. At 10 a.m, he will release a video on social media announcing he is in a same-sex relationship.
I anticipate this place is going to light up like a Christmas tree, okay? And what I don't want him to do is get in the middle of a media scrum.
Yeah. The 19-year-old will become one of only a handful of openly LGBT British sports personalities, most of whom came out after they'd retired from competition.
Sports, it's really one of the last frontiers for equality for LGBT people. It's a tough place, supposedly, to come out.
There will be journalists who may try and get in through back doors to get access to him.
You could say I was worried how the public would perceive him.
Bye.
I mean, I think there were fears from some of the people who represent Tom that people would lose interest in him.
Right, let's get tweeting. Should I say something like, so here goes, got something to say? What do I say? Like, I don't know. What do I tweet with that? That's like such a bombshell to drop. Oh, I'm shaking. So, should I just post it? Got something to say. Not been an easy decision to make.
Your hand's shaking.
I know. I didn't really know what to say, so I would say anything, but... Right.
Okay.
It's live.
Oh, bless you.
The press can be very cruel, can't they, if they want to be. And that was my worry, that people wouldn't be very nice about him and that he would see that.
I didn't quite know what was going to happen, and you know, it felt like the world was going to end and it felt like the walls were going to start crumbling down, and then it was fine.
The Olympic diver Tom Daley revealed today that he is in a relationship with a man.
Tom Daley is well known for his athletics in the pool, but now he has come out to fans.
I think it will be a tremendously important, powerful message for other gay and bisexual teenagers.
Everyone was so supportive.
That's terrifying.
I said, Mum, you always worry that your children are going to get hurt in some way, but he's had really good positive results.
Poor Tom's had quite a lot of quite nastiness sometimes, hasn't it?
In
With
the past,
people in the
had,
past.
Yeah. And loads of support texts and stuff, like from like Kylie was the first to text me.
Kylie Minogue?
Yeah.
I think it's helped a lot more people. Like, a lot of people have come out to their families now and said that it was down to Tom that they did it, that they gained the courage for it.
And the parents of these children have actually said to me, you know, can you thank Tom because, you know, it's enabled my son or my daughter to come out to us.
I think there were fears that the girls would lose interest in him. Well, I'll tell you right now, you try walking through a shopping centre or through London with Tom Daley, and you can hear it coming, the screams of the girls coming toward him.
He can do no wrong. Tom Daley is God.
What's different, before he came out, young men wouldn't come up to him. It was only girls. Now, young men come up to him too. Because now I think the young men aren't afraid he's going to steal their girlfriend.
In January 2014, Tom will also announce another dramatic change in his life and his diving. He's leaving his West Country hometown behind and moving to London.
I'm having a New Year's party, fancy dress. I need to speak to Lance. I was thinking Beauty and the Beast, but I don't know how that'll go down.
You could be Sonny and Cher.
Who?
Sonny and Cher.
Who's that?
Oh, God.
Who is that? What, Cher is in, like...
This pop singer.
Yeah.
Tom approached me and said, Alexei, I would like to leave Plymouth for London. I said, why? He said, many reasons. One of them, you know, I'm a celebrity. I need to hang out where all celebrities do it.
Tom was earning too much money to be funded by UK Sport. So he had to make his money through a media profile, and most of that is done in London. So if he's going to do that and come and train 5 to 6 hours a day, you can see there's going to be a problem there, particularly with 4 hours to get to London and 4 hours to get back.
There's the pool. Oh, wow. I was thinking about putting my trophy cabinet here.
When he said he was going to move to London, I was quite worried because I was thinking, oh my goodness, he's going to be on the tubes by himself, he's going to be walking around the streets of London by himself. And I was quite worried. I was thinking, oh God, he's only 19.
In here, Lance is probably going to have his writing desk, I think.
At home, something similar has happened to me where at a young age you start being asked to take pictures for magazines and you become a public figure, and then we're being referred to as good-looking guys and sex symbols and things like that. Is it a distraction? Yes. But I believe he's very grounded.
Not only is the diver moving to the capital, but with time ticking until the Rio Olympics, he's also parting company with Andy Banks, the coach that has guided his entire diving career.
I'd coached him for 11 years. And that relationship is always going to be special because it started from the age of 8 through to the age of 19 with a whole load of ups and downs that were pretty massive along the way.
I kind of just had to take the leap of faith. If I didn't do something like that, I don't think I'd be diving.
Tom said, Alexei, I appreciate what Andy Banks did to me. He's a great coach, but I can't take him in with me, so that's why I need another coach. It should be one of the best coaches in the world.
Go, go, go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Is that good? Okay. Clap your hands now, people, clap now. Clap your hands now, people, clap your hands.
Alexei called me and said, Tom, what do you think of Jane Figueiredo as your coach, to coach you in London? I was like, what do you mean, like Jane Figueiredo is in the coach? The coach is the Russian. He was like, yeah.
Knees up, knees up.
She's actually trained athletes that I think have won 9 Olympic medals, something like that.
That's it, that's it.
She is known as one of the greatest coaches in the diving world.
That's better, Tom. Within the first 24 hours of him training with me, I just knew that there was something special about him.
On the 14th of January 2014, Jane Figueiredo is officially announced as Tom's new coach, the person to guide him in his bid for success at Rio 2016.
I need to see that his passion and his commitment is matching mine. He knows why I'm here.
Jane is definitely a bit of a free spirit. She thinks outside the box.
Very nice. That was awesome.
You won't see any other diving coaches doing the same exercises that Jane does.
Oh, my Lord.
She seems to know how to get out of him, what she needs to get out of him.
I saw a cheesecake where it's like biscuit, cheesecake, layer of ice cream.
I'll make you one of those if you win the gold medal. Actually, I'm promising a lot of things for that gold medal, aren't I?
She always, Tom, Tom, Tom. And he, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Think about an exercise and we'll go 4 times through.
He trusted Jane right away. This is the main thing in their partnership. Coach and diver, Jane and Tom.
Sometimes I think the things that she suggests that we do are completely outrageous, wild, and like, what on earth are you thinking?
Then keep your bum in. And down, and up. And reach to the bar, really stretch through here.
Grace, beauty. We've forgotten about that in diving. So if we can add a little bit of element of that, that's what we're trying to do.
Oh, I can't remember the word that we always use. Develope.
Yeah, those are
No
there's one
develope?
of those in there.
Oh, there is a develope.
But we start with a grand battement.
Grand battement.
Oh my God, he loves it. He loves it. He really loves it. And I think it allows him to sort of do something that less mechanical, if you know what I mean.
And up. And just do this back. I just kicked Tom Daley in the face.
Actually, I think probably a new pair of eyes, a new voice, a new philosophy coming into him at that time was one of the reasons for helping him get back on the horse and overcome some of the glumness associated with post-2012. But he was still really struggling with his twist dive.
He had one dive that was not going well for him. He just had a mental thing about it.
Tom is facing a form of diver's block, and it could sink his dreams of gold in Rio.
It became this whole thing where I was absolutely terrified every time I did it. It started at the London Games.
Tom's triumphant 2012 final also had a dramatic downside.
Now the opening dive for Tom Daley. 2.5 twists in the pike position.
London, the amount of pressure that was piled onto all of the athletes' shoulders to be able to perform and do well.
You know, everybody who saw him was like, "You're going to win gold, Tom." And I think he started worrying a little bit, oh God, what if I don't get gold?
We needed a medal at the Olympics, and we didn't get that, unfortunately, until the very last competition, which was Tom. So I can't even imagine the pressure he had.
I've never felt pressure like it.
The final competition just started. We are all looking forward to a great result.
Everyone was there to watch Tom. Everyone was expecting a lot from him.
Suddenly, his first dive just failing.
That's a very poor start from Daley.
As he's come off the board and twisted, he's faced the crowd, and it was just a sea of flashes.
If you blink when you're diving, you're done.
It blinded him.
Oh, he's allowed to redive. Here we go. Okay.
Then to have to go back up and do it again.
I think he was that nervous, it affected him big time.
Turn your flashes off, please. Everybody in the crowd, and give this boy a chance.
Yes! Nice, brother! Oh!
This dive became, I don't know, the big problem for him.
He won't do that dive anymore because it psychologically really affects him.
Tom Daley began diving at the age of 8 and caught the attention of the diving world almost immediately.
You know, first time I saw Tom, he was really little boy, and I thought to myself, oh, give him great technique, he will be a great diver.
He was a little pipsqueak then, and I thought, oh, well, that's interesting.
I think we probably realised how talented Tom was when Tom had just had his 10th birthday. He went to a senior competition. Well, he actually came away winning under-18 champion, and he'd literally only turned 10 a couple of weeks before.
My first memory of him, actually, he was 11 years old, I think. But right away, you know something special could happen.
The rest is history, as they say after that.
He's become the face of diving across the world champion, the Olympic medalist. He's a superstar.
Go 15 seconds. Hi, Tom. Welcome. How are you? You okay?
Good morning and hello. Welcome to the show, Tom Daley.
Thank you very much.
He is a magnet. He is an icon.
It's Innuendo Bingo with Tom Daley.
Ever since I've been about 7 or 8, he's been in the limelight. I don't think I'll go a day without seeing him on TV or hearing him on the radio, seeing him online.
Okay, cool, no worries.
His brothers keep him quite grounded. When he won the bronze medal at the Olympics, the first thing they said to him was, "Third place, third place."
I know what Tom feels like because we have similar sort of careers where there's a ton of pressure.
When you have the reputation and probably the life beyond the sports that Tom has, that places an incredible amount of pressure on you. And though he wears it well, it is a pressure.
Don't underestimate Tom Daley. It's just somebody who goes around smiling. He is a complicated, emotional man.
As a young kid, it was that emotion that I think made me worry about whether or not he was going to be able to hack it.
Andy told me that I wouldn't make a diver as long as I had a hole in my ass. He saw me dive and I was stood on the end of the board crying.
Well, his first competition, he's got a failed dive. He came out of the pool, screamed at the top of his voice, and went flying out of the fire exit. And I was like, whoa, this is he's not holding it together very well at all. When he was in happy mode, that boy could fly. When he wasn't, it was what I called the downward spiral of doom.
I'm going to come to the really important question firstly. Yes. Is there any truth to these reports that you're going to retire after these Commonwealth Games?
By the summer of 2014, with just 2 years to go until Rio, Tom's emotions were threatening his ambitions. The twister dive that had failed at the London Olympics had become a serious problem.
I hated the dive. If you say, what has been the scariest moment in your life? And I would just literally say, every time I stood up on that board to do that dive.
This dive, twist dive, became his, I don't know, anchor on his development.
I became this massive OCD freak when it came to the day that I was doing those dives. I couldn't walk across 3 drains without thinking the world was going to end. If I didn't sleep well, I thought the dive was going to go wrong. If I didn't eat the right things.
He's had to see a lot of people to try and sort his mind out in relation to twisting dives. And unfortunately, a twisting dive is part of the list in any competition.
I tried everything. I had post-traumatic therapy and tried hypnotherapy, whatever you want, it just didn't work.
So that's why Jane made absolutely bold decision, bold initiative to change this dive completely, to make new dive, which nobody in the world is doing.
We had to make a change rapidly. It was about risking it all. That's really good. Now you got your arms up better. I think sometimes you have to take some risks. Bigger risk, bigger the reward.
Jane actually typed in a few different options into YouTube.
Yeah, I love that.
And there was a dive that someone did off a Russian swing in the circus. So we turned a circus trick into an Olympic dive.
He said, you know, I think I'm going to try and learn a new dive. And I was like, okay, he's falling in love. Like, he's falling in love with his sport again.
Lots of people would have said that it's this impossible dive, it's going to be too difficult, but when somebody tells me I can't do something, it makes me want to do it even more.
It looks a bit wow when you first see it, which I think is why it's been nicknamed the Firework.
Started it third before you landed. It's a very hard dive because when you're on springboard, if you're doing that same dive, you have the springboard to initiate a lot of that somersault. When you're on the platform, it's just solid concrete. So he has to initiate it.
It's May 2015, just over a year until Rio, and Tom is in Canada to compete in the World Series. It will be the first time he's tested his new dive in North America.
I used to hate staying away from my family. When I used to go on diving competitions, I used to cry and I used to get upset. One of the famous lines, I guess, was, "If you leave me in this room alone, I will jump out the window."
He would ring me up crying because he wanted to go home. We did get through it, but he used to get really emotional.
I'm calling you. Oh.
Hey, birthday boy!
How does it feel to have a 21-year-old son?
Very strange. Makes me feel very old.
Well, then.
Especially when I'm only 21 myself.
Well, yeah, I don't know how that quite worked, but yeah, sure you are.
So what have you done today then? Have you done anything good?
Not yet. And I don't think I'm going to be doing anything. I'm just here training. I've got some presents here, and I've got some cards. The tag says, because 21 is so old, you'll be in need of these. Wrinkle filler, DIY Botox, emergency plastic pants. Well, I'm not quite at that stage.
You don't look 21, Tom.
Don't I? Well, how do I look?
Like 31?
He is considered somewhat old, because that 10 meters is rough. And the fact that he started young, I had some physical problems because I started so young as well. At one point, I think his body's gonna start calling for help.
I've been up there since I was 10 years old. So most people don't go up there until they're 15 or 16. So I've already been up there for the same amount of time as, say, an average 25-year-old would be. And that's when they start coming down onto springboard or even retiring.
Tom will unveil his new twister dive, nicknamed the Firework, in the preliminary round.
The twister is a difficult one to get right, but when you do get it right, it's a dive that I know I can score a 10 on.
Judges award
The dive doesn't go to plan, and the scores disappoint. Tom eventually wins bronze, but it could have been a very different story.
My new dive, it nearly cost me my place in the final. To actually not make it and not do it so well, it was really frustrating. 18 months out from the Olympic Games to learn a new dive. If you ask anyone to do that, they think I was crazy, but I don't have a choice. This could be my only shot at an Olympic gold medal. It's getting my heart beating like crazy right now.
July 2015, 13 months until Rio, and just weeks before the first Olympic qualifying event, the World Championships, held in the Russian city of Kazan.
We're sort of building into Kazan, so, you know, because Worlds is a high-pressure meet, that's going to be very intense.
Yeah, the World Championships is going to be a big one.
When it comes to gold in Rio, I know Tom can win the gold. His coach knows he can win gold. There's no question Tom can win gold in Rio. The question is, does Tom believe it? And I'll tell you, there are days he does, and there are days I'm not sure he does yet.
All I'm saying is make sure that your feet go first before you throw, otherwise it won't turn. Think about how mentally draining it's going to be at the Olympic Games in the final. He has to be mentally tough, and he can't give an inch.
I do think at this point, it's what's going on in here and here that's going to make the difference.
There it is. See, that's an occasion that I'm telling you about. He has to just trust me on it instead of thinking, just do what I want him to do.
So it's 5:30 a.m. here in Russia, and today is the chance to qualify a spot for Great Britain at the Olympic Games. You have to qualify. It's not just a matter of, oh, you went to the Olympics last time, oh yeah, here's your invite, come again next time, please.
Wow. Stop biting your nails.
Sorry, I'll give it a minute.
Do you get who's next? Tom's next. I'm shaking now.
Are you?
Oh, yeah. I'm absolutely
That's
shaking.
DT, sweetheart.
Let's go, Tom! It's getting exciting, isn't it? Oh!
Here he is.
Come on, Tom. Come on.
Oh, he's lost.
Oh no.
Dad.
He's thinking about it. The streaming stopped again.
Yeah. Probably missed Tom's first dive now.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
So this is his new one. The one everyone calls the fireworks, his new twister.
Come on, Tom.
Come on, Tom.
Come on, Tom.
That was bad.
That's costly for Daly.
Oh, that'll knock him down.
Yeah.
A lot.
Right, let's see where Tom is. Ninth. Come on, Tom.
Come on,
Now, Tom Daly needing a reparation job here. So
come on, don't be so negative.
Despite another hiccup with the new dive, Tom claims third prize, along with qualification for Rio.
Good day. Good day at the office, as they say.
Good day at the office.
October 2015, 10 months until the Olympics.
So, Lance and I have some very exciting news, and that is that we got engaged. I got engaged to Lance. Look at him, look how cute he is.
Oh, come on.
And we decided to announce it in the Times. We bought a few copies because, you know, of course, you would.
3 copies.
3 copies.
You gotta share it with the family.
Open the page, open the page. Look. But, you know, life goes on. Lance has to get back to all his note cards over there where he's making his script, and...
He's doing TV presenter voice right now.
No! Stop! But he's got to go back to work, and I've got to go back to training. Life goes on, and now it's off to a spin class, so very exciting times. No plans for a wedding yet, but until after the Olympics maybe. But who knows? Exciting times ahead.
We both got down on one knee, but he did it first. Yeah. And we both said yes.
Luckily.
So now we're throwing a party.
Happy, excited. Anyone who sees them together knows that they are made for each other.
It means everything to be able to be engaged to Lance, because he has been so supportive of me. I have Lance to thank for so many things in the way that I don't think I would be diving if I hadn't met Lance.
It's given him a sense of calmness and confidence. And, you know, leading into Rio, that's what we really need.
If Tom can capture gold in Rio, he'll be fulfilling more than just his own dreams.
It's lovely to see you, Tom.
Oh.
Welcome home. Welcome home.
Alright, what's up? It's a big welcome.
Did you like it? Well, I haven't seen you for a long time.
Yeah, there's so many memories that I've got from this house, so yeah. I told my mum she can never ever sell it, so... This window, I've got a lot of memories. Every time I come home from training, I'd see the city lit up. And when this room was being built, the first day that I got my furniture put in here and it was delivered, it was quite a, you know, I was quite excited when I got home from school, and I can remember, like, as if it was yesterday, walking in here, seeing the furniture, and then somehow, for some reason, my dad had put a ladder up outside and decided to pop his head up out the window to try and surprise me or make me jump. I don't know quite what he was trying to do, but that's definitely one, you know, memory I'll always have of this window. Seeing his little head pop, well, not little, quite a big fat head actually, pop up from the window. So, yeah, he was a bit of a nutcase, but everyone loved him for it. Losing my dad has made me think about life in such a different way.
Tom, can you give me a cuddle? Come on, please. Come on.
And yeah, it's been weird adapting to life without him, but all of the lessons that he's taught me, like, I try to live by, and I think he's really shaped me into the person that I am today.
His dad may have passed away, but he's still here. I feel like I know him. The hopes and dreams and expectations that came from his father are still alive and well in his heart.
I would love for him to be able to just say to me or just let me know what he thinks about what I've been doing over the last few years, because he didn't get to see me win my Olympic medal, and he won't get to see me compete in the next Olympic Games either.
May 2016, 3 months until Rio, and Tom is competing in the European Championships. It's his last international competition before the Olympics in August.
The influence of his father is undoubted and unrivaled in who Tom is as a person and in terms of what he wants to do. And I think achieving that dream would be something that you'd be able to say, Dad, we finally did it.
It's always been my dream to win an Olympic gold medal, and it was also our dream.
I know he still thinks of his dad when he stood up on the end of that diving board each time.
If he's to be the best in the world and fulfill his Olympic ambitions, every dive will need to deliver. None more so than his new twister, the so-called firework.
Yes, supersonic from Tom Daley. This is the dive he's been working so hard on.
I mean, I scored 570 points, and that would have got a gold medal in the Olympic Games in 2012. So, you know, I'm so happy with it, and like, couldn't really be in a better place heading into Rio. Even my twister, that was my highest scoring one that I've done this year. So, I'm really happy. Thank you, everyone, for everything. See you later. Bye, everyone.
Prior to London Olympic Games, when people asked me, Alexei, tell us your prediction, and I said, don't dream about gold medal for Tom Daley. But now, I already dare to say that Tom can make gold medal.
I want to do it in my dad's memory. I want to make him proud.